Welcome to Sage Audio. Today we're talking about how to mix in FL Studio. To get the most from your music, consider watching the entirety of each chapter, because each chapter builds from the previous to create a complete understanding of the topic. If you have a mix that you need mastered, consider sending it to us to receive a free mastered sample of it with the link in the description. Import, route, and rename. Since FL Studio isn't designed with mixing in mind, it takes some routing to ensure you can mix properly. First, we need to import all of our tracks into the playlist section. Then double-click each track and make the tracks ascending. Track 1 is routed to track 1, 2 to 2, etc. Now once we do this for all of our tracks or instruments, click on the Mixer tab to open up that window. Lastly, let's rename all of our tracks from Insert 1, 2, etc. to a more recognizable name so we know what it is. Let's listen to the original unprocessed mix that we're working on today. Establish levels and pan. Now that we have everything organized, let's get some levels for our tracks using the channel faders to push certain elements and instruments into the forefront and let others be more of a support. For example, I'll make the vocal a bit louder so that it cuts through. Then I'll use the pan pots to put some instrumentation closer to the left or to the right to expand my stereo image and clear some room in the middle for more driving instrumentation like the kick and bus. Let's take a listen. If you're enjoying the video, consider hitting the like button. It really helps us bring you more videos. Using Sound Goodizer. FL Studio stock plugins make it easy to get a polished sound pretty quickly. Sound Goodizer is a good option for this. It's just one dial with 4 different settings, so you can quickly add some saturation, brightening, dynamic control, and other timbre changes to an instrument. For this mix, I used it on the vocal, clap, and kick, so it works well at bringing important instruments forward. Let's listen to it on these instruments. Maximus for dynamics. When it comes to your dynamics, Maximus is a valuable plugin, mainly because it lets you maximize or use low-level or upward compression to bring detail forward. I used this on a few instruments, but let's look at how it's used on the bass. Using the master section, I increased the quieter aspects of the bass by sloping that part of the dynamics upward or expanding them. From there, I slightly reduced the release to make the expansion quicker. Let's take a listen to it. Vocal chain in FL Studio. For my vocal chain, I used 5 plugins: Sound Goodizer, Fruity Chorus, Maximus, Fruity Reverb 2, and Fruity Multiband Compression, which I used for de-essing. Using Maximus, I shaped the frequency response by using downward expansion on the lows and upward on the highs. For the reverb, I placed it on the mid-image, used a medium size, and blended it in with the wet-dry on the right. With the multiband compressor, I only affected the highs and liked the aggressive sound of running my processing into this compressor. Additionally, I reduced the strength of Maximus and my chorus using the parallel dials to the right of my inserts. Let's take a listen. Only a small percentage of people that watch our videos are subscribed, so if you're enjoying the video, consider subscribing. It's free and you can always change your mind. Setting reverb times. I used reverb for different reasons on different instruments. For example, I used a long and stylized reverb on my vocals, but a short one on my drum loop. For the vocal, the long reverb helped it stand out and give it an identity separate from the rest of the song. For my drum loop, the short reflections thickened the percussive nature of it and helped it sound more powerful in the mix. Let's take a listen. Quick shaping and balancing. Now that we've added our processing to our tracks, let's rebalance our levels using the channel faders and do some super quick frequency shaping using the convenient 3-band EQ located on each channel strip. With it, I'll add some highs or lows to various instruments. Now it's best not to use these too aggressively, but just to gently reshape an instrument in the context of the mix. Let's take a listen.
Let you go, baby, it's time to
If you're enjoying the channel, consider supporting us by joining with the link in the description to help us bring you more videos and content. Master bus settings. On the master bus, I'll only use 2 processors. First, I'll use a parametric EQ, which will give me more control over the frequency response of my bus. I'll enable high quality mode to ensure aliasing distortion doesn't occur, then boost some highs to add air. Then, I'll use a limiter to protect from clipping distortion while boosting the gain to increase perceived loudness. I'll make sure that the saturation dial is all the way up to avoid distorting my peaks and ensure that I'm not using the limiter aggressively. Let's take a listen.
let you go, baby, it's time to
Best export settings. Whenever the mix is done and it's time to export, do so via File, Export, and then choose a WAV file. Ensure the mode is set to full song, the tail is set to leave remainder, your bit depth is 24-bit, and you use 64-point sync settings. All of these settings will ensure that your mix is ready to be mastered. Let's listen to the original mix and then the finished mix.
let you
If you have a mix that you need mastered, consider sending it to us to receive a free mastered sample of it with the link in the description. Thank you so much for watching.